Hello and welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, my name is Luce and I love making content around traveling and doing personal finance. If that is something that resonates with you, make sure to subscribe and hit the like button to let me know to create more content like this. On today's episode, I wanted to walk you through my process of creating the budget for the month. Especially now that we're done with the first quarter of the year, I want to look back into the three last months and see if my budget allocations need to be changed or if I need to be considering other things that, I might have not missed or that I might have missed before. So for example, if there's a recurring purchase that I didn't account for in my budget allocations for the previous months, then now I need to probably become conscious if it keeps coming over and over again so that I can create a new line item on my budget. Or maybe not. Maybe I need to delete something that, I was having to do the previous months in last year, and in this past 3 months I haven't done it. So I just now need to remove that line. So it's basically a chance to look back into these past 3 months and reassess what the budget allocation should be for the upcoming quarter. So if you're interested in that, make sure to stick around. I'm gonna go ahead and make myself a little matcha and then we can get into it. Pretty good. Hello from the past, and as I'm recording this at night, the night before, I just wanted to walk you through some of the variable expenses, actually, the variable expenses that I account for in my budget. And as you can see here, I have what I call my different categories. Actually, gonna wear my glasses because I do not want to hurt my eyes at this time of day. So basically, the main categories for me are going to be food, gas, my savings, travel savings, laundry, other needs, other no needs, disposable stuff, eating out, clothes, gifts, any additional savings, additional investments, any work expenses, and I think what else do I have here? Oh, yeah, work expenses. I want to just have my interest bucket in there just so that I know how much I am paying in interest for per month for the loans that I have. My travel expenses and a specific travel bucket for the expenses with my boyfriend, so sort of like a joint account with him. Anything for donation and any additional debt payments that I make throughout the month. And so these items are what I consider my categories for adjusting my budget a month to month. And they may be different from yours, which is fine. This is very personal. This is just what comes up happen again for me. Like, for example, clothes was not something that I wanted to have on my allocation, but I noticed that month to month I was getting one new item of clothing and one, at least one. And so I just wanted to be conscious of that, how much money was going towards my clothing spree or eating out specifically. And yeah, I consider other things such as like personal care, like toothpaste, toilet paper, things that are necessary in my other needs bucket. But because I buy those things typically in bulk, I don't need to buy them each month. I don't have a specific category for it. So that's what these categories are for me. In this other section of the charts, we have the months. So January through March would account for the first quarter of the year, and April through June it will be the second quarter, and so on and so forth. So the idea for today's review is to finish completing my stuff, my totals for March, and upon finishing that, calculate the forecasted for allocations for April to see if they are still in line with what I would expect to allocate per month as I did for the previous month, or if I need to up that up a little bit more. We all know eggs these days are quite expensive. Things might be getting more expensive soon. And so we want to just, prepare and see, that things may change. They don't have to be exactly the same. That's one of the things I learned, that the budget doesn't have to be 100% accurate in order for you to consider it a success, but more as to use it as a compass and see, where you're going, and if that's the direction that you want it to go, or if not, allow you to steer, directions to keep you on track of your goals. So with that, let's look at March. I know I have already done some of the numbers here because, like I told you in previous videos, I do a weekly check-in, and on those weekly check-ins I add up the totals and then just enter it into my sales to make sure that I am going according to my plan. So for this case, in food I had allocated 250, and March I stopped recording at 219. So what I'm gonna do is go into my spending tracking tab here, and I'm going to filter in the categories for food, select food, apply, and I have all of March. So I'm going to just select this one and drag it all the way down, and that gives me a total of 316.96. 316.96. Okay. That is more than I had allocated. So 316.96. I'm going to go and change here 316.96. And I will just mark it black. That tells myself that is not changing anymore. Is going to stay at, the month's already over. It's today. Today's April 1st. And so that's all the money that was spent for food in the month of March. And similarly, I'm going to go through all the remainder of the variable boxes. So for gas, going to do a similar thing. So I'm going to just deselect the food item and just select gas here, apply. And for March, I have 93.48. So that was, wait, what is this? 112.16. I'm missing one here. Uh, I will double check that, and if I do, I'll just insert a click here and say where that came from. I would think that that is more accurate. That it was 93. That it was 116, 112.66. I'm not sure where I deleted that line in my spending tracking tab, but I'm going to assume it's correct. This 112.16. However, I'm going to double check and then I'll let you know if it was. For emergency savings, so I'm going to actually just select all. And I know I have that. I actually label it specifically. I give it a comment that I can look for on the side and just filter for that comment. This one I'm going to mark it as 550 for savings. So I did just $100 over of what I had originally planned, and I do that a lot. I think I need to be a little more careful with how much money I'm putting into my savings because I do have other priorities, as I mentioned earlier in the video. So I'm going to mark that black and just keep it as is because that's all I save towards my emergency savings goal for this year. In my travel savings, I don't think I did much savings in my travel bucket because I actually also did have a lot of expenses towards travel. So let me just go quickly towards that. Savings, I call it savings, apply, and it's all to my travel bucket. So yeah, exactly as I said, only $44 this time. I had planned to save 150. So let's just finish going over the remainder. If this takes too long, I'll just go ahead and um, fast forward it a little bit. So eating out, this was not eating out in March. Ooh, that was a whopping 556 and 32. So it is worth noting that these two items here, I actually put my card down for 9 people, not 7, so including myself. So I didn't spend all that money in just myself. So nonetheless, I want to account for that money. I think. Should I? No. I believe my total came out to like 45. So since I did get all the money back, I'm going to just label this as, give it a note here, total, and here 339.86 total, and my part was like $45 for both. So I'm just gonna do 25 and 20. even though it was it 25? Was it going 45? I think it was 45. So I'm going to leave it like that. And so in this case, then I'm going to assume a total of 146.23, which is better than 556. So 146.23 for eating out, 146.23, right? And that is more than I had allocated. So eating out for me is not one of my big things that I love to spend money in, and that's why I only allocate myself $75 a month. But things have become more expensive lately, and so it just means that those $75 are not going to cut it each month. Especially when I look at the previous months, the average of that is 160. So that's where my budget allocation is going to have to change for at least the next quarter and then see how I reassess as I go forward. Because, like I said, I don't like to spend that much money eating out. But in some of these cases, I needed it. I can recall back being super hungry and not having a lunch prepared for one of these eating out times. Let me see, that was only like 4:55. So other times I had done like a really major run and I was so hungry, so I went to get myself something to eat. So yeah, I think maybe I should just observe and um you know, I don't think I did pretty bad. The month was really long. I think maybe that's one of the things. But yeah, it's just something that I need to keep in mind for the next quarter. So, okay, that's going to be blacked out at this point. I think, yeah, that's going to be blacked out. For clothes, I think I had something. Hmm. Did I not buy anything? I'm pretty sure I did. I always do. Yeah, something like that. So this one was kind of funny. Not very proud of it because I feel like I was scammed. I I saw that the Billabong had a major sale and everything was very cheap. And since I had heard that they were closing down the stores in the area, or like I thought everything had gone bankrupt, I thought it was real. And it wasn't until the moment that I got a confirmation and I paid for it and everything, I realized that it was it was not Billabong. It was some other company in China, probably, I don't know, making fake stuff or whatever. The point is that I fell for the scam, but I did buy a lot of clothes because it was so cheap. And yeah, if it's too good to be true, it probably is. And I should remember that myself. Anyway, the point is, I spent $68.14 on clothing. So 68.14. So I'm gonna mark that as done for the month and black it out. For gifts, I did buy some gifts. I went home to visit my family, so I did end up buying stuff to take there. And let me see, how much was it? Okay. Hmm. Okay. I'm going to consider that 176.38. Even though $50 off of that is was for some running shoes that I needed for my race. I'm gonna consider a gift myself and counted for 176.38 total for the gifts. So 176.38 $76.38 total for gifts. Oops, I keep forgetting that. So I'm gonna black this one out. Additional savings. So I could kind of argue that I had $100 in additional savings, but just to make it easier, I'm gonna leave this one empty. Additional investment. I did buy some additional investments, but I took it out of my HSA account, not out of my month to month income. So I'm going to leave it as blank as well. For work expense, I had a work expense this month. So let me see. Work expense was $254.16. 254.16. So this is money that just gets reimbursed back to me, but I just like to note it so that I don't lose track of how much I do and then putting it into work. That way I make sure to file my report and get the reimbursement. For interest, I'm going to leave this one blank as well as I did for last month. Just because right now I need to pull out my statement and I just want to finish this presentation. Let's move on. For travel expenses, I went to Mexico this last month, and I also bought tickets to go to Florida this month, April. So I'm going to go ahead and filter for travel. And because I do travel a lot, or quite a bit, I want to specify where in my travels I spend that money. Instead of putting all of my travel in one bucket, I'm going to give it a hyphen and then just label what the specific travel was for. So, for example, in this case, I'm going to select Mexico and Florida. Um, Also ski me because I went to ski in Mammoth. If you missed the video for that, I'll link it below and on the card here. So I had a pretty busy month basically and a lot of travel. So let's see what the total for that was. For travel total in March was $907.03. So 907.03. 907.03. And that's one of the categories that I feel happy to spend money in. To be honest, I don't feel regrets unless like I just overdo it. Like, for example, gone to Mammoth and gone out to eat all the time. But that's like what I'm saying. Like maybe eating out's not like the biggest of my value items, but traveling to go ski and be a Mammoth is one of them. And so that's how I do it. So travel was a bit high, but I know that is because I bought tickets to go to Florida, I went to Mammoth, and I went to go see my family in Mexico last week. For Travel Lisbon, that is just basically mine and my boyfriend's joint account. I had allocated 600. I think we only did 300 this last month. So for this, again, I'm going to select all and just find our notes for, we call it the travel junkies or something like that, because he also loves to travel, or at least to travel with me. 150. Okay, I forgot to make the notes for the other one, but it was 150 as well, so it's actually 300 total. and that money just goes directly from my employer to that account. So I know it's 100% $300. The rest of the items, I know I didn't do any donation this month. I didn't plan for it, and I didn't do any additional debt payments than what I had already allocated for in my fixed expenses. So this is what March is looking like so far. I know I need to adjust some of those items, but let's just go with those numbers and see where I land for April. So I'm going to just use a basic average formula, so equals to average, and then I'm going to select these three numbers and just click enter, and it tells me that my average is or to about $281 a month for food. And I think that is probably accurate. Given that the only month that was less than my allocated amount was February, and February is a shorter month, and January and March look pretty much around the same. So I'm gonna go with that. I guess $282. I'm gonna make it 280 just to have a nice number. And yeah, I don't. I was not expecting to up my food budget again since I had it at 200 last year and it worked fine. But towards the end of last year, things kept going up and I had to change it to 250, and now I'm almost having to change it to 300. So we'll see how it goes. But just to make things easier for the remainder of the items, I'm going to if I didn't have that line here that you see here, I could just drag. Oh, I did. Okay, I thought I was going to copy it. So yeah, you just select that one first, and then you just drag it all the way to the bottom. And then you have the average amount of money that you have spent on your categories the last quarter, so that you can better estimate what your number should be for this new quarter. And if you had been meeting or staying within the same amounts that you allocated previously, then your month of April is going to be very similar. Mine, as you saw, is 280, so I'm gonna go ahead and change it to 280 here. For my gas, my average is less than 150. However, I feel like that is still a bit low from what I expect to spend. The numbers don't lie, right? The number says that the average amount I spend is about 150. However, I do want to go back to Mammoth, and I want to be going surfing again down south. So I'm going to leave it at 175 and then see how it goes from there. For emergency savings, my average is 633 and 33 cents. However, for this one specifically, I'm going to decrease my contribution to my emergency savings and then just have the remainder of the money that I would otherwise save towards my emergency savings. I'm going to save it to pay off my debt down the line. So, yeah, I'm doing some tricky mind. Uh, I know how my mind is working, but in this moment, I just want to make this a 250 contribution towards my emergency savings per month. For travel savings, the average has been quite low. Maybe this is one that I want to increase instead of doing more money towards the emergency savings. I want to just do this extra money for my travel savings. I don't have the travels that I have planned for this year are mostly with my boyfriend, and so that's going to be coming out of our joint account. I don't need to make it come out of my travel savings account, and I don't foresee any other travel other than just going on a quick visit to go see my family again in Mexico and later down the road. So maybe in the second half of next year, of this year, I'm going to have to adjust that bucket for something higher. But for now, I think I'm good at leaving it at 100. In laundry items, it's gonna remain the same. 25 is a perfect number for me. For other needs, I think for this one, I do want to. Um, I'm gonna go with 100 as well. It's 115. What am I doing? I need to follow my numbers, okay? Follow my numbers. So the average was 115. I'm gonna say let's do 125. Why not? Other needs is 365 for other no needs. Okay, I know I spent way too much on in March, and part of that, or yeah, part of that is a gift towards my dad and my stepmom, and part of that also is money that my siblings have paid me back. So my part for that was more like $300, not quite $900. But and then looking at January and February, I've only spent like 45 and $74 on other no needs. I think $75 is still a good ballpark for my budget. So I'm gonna leave it at 75. For disposable, I have 75 and um, allocated in an average of 40. I I'm gonna leave it at 75 as well. Let's just do 50 actually. Let's do 50 there. For eating out, I had it at 75 allocation and I spent about 160 on average. So I think I'm gonna leave it at 150. Um, yeah, let's do 150. And I know my average is more than that, but I'm going to try to just be more conscious about it. And if I need to, I will change that allocation for May. So for clothes, average is 56. I do not want to buy any more clothes. If I give myself the budget to do it, I'm gonna go and think I have the money, or like like I have the money and go and shop, and I end up liking too many things, and I'm probably gonna end up overspending. So I'm gonna do zero here, and then just whatever comes out, I'll just take the hit. For gifts, 100 seems to be a good number. So 100. Additional savings. So, like I said, my other savings that otherwise would be going towards my emergency savings, I'm just gonna count it as additional savings. And I believe, yeah, I have to double check this one with my uh, numbers that are getting with my income and make sure that that will be $400. So for additional investments, I have $50 allocated as well. And I think I'm happy with that. For work expense, this is just for a reference number, so I'm just gonna do $200 here. And for interest, I need to double check on that one. Travel expenses, that's 720. So 720. Whoa. That's just gonna mean to me that I'm gonna have to save for sure more than $100 a month. So that if my average is going to be 720 per month, then I need to make sure that I'm saving at least equal the amount a month before each time. This is going to be a tricky one, so I think that I'm going to make this one just 75. Let me make this one $100 for anything that I'm not accounted for, and then increase my savings, travel savings, to 500, just to make sure that I capture um, any travel expenses I know that I have the money in my travel savings account to pay for. So that's gonna go like that. And in my travel savings account, we actually talked about increasing this to $500 per month instead of 300. So that is going to change. Donation, I'm just going to do like $30. And additional debt payments. This one, it's again another one that I have to double check in how much do I want to put extra towards my debt payment versus putting into my high yield savings account so that it gains some interest and also gives me a peace of mind. So I'm gonna leave this one blank for now, and I think that's it for setting up my new totals for April. That was a bit too long, but I hope that it helps you in looking at your numbers and forecasting what your new numbers for your budgets in April, May, and June are going to be, and if they need to be revising or they need to be adjusted to reflect any changes in your life recently or in the economy. So, with that, I think I'm gonna just close this and get back to the video. Okay, so now knowing what my pattern has been in the last quarter and also taking into account the plans or the things that I want to do this new month, or maybe even for the rest of the second quarter, I'm going to adjust my budget allocations for April accordingly. In this case, I think I'm just going to concentrate in April and what I see for April. And for now, I know I at least have an outing for a friend's birthday that is coming up. I do have plans to go see my sister in Florida and one of the weekends in April. So I already bought tickets for that. What I need to care about now is transportation from here to the airport and back, and what I will be spending when I'm there. Um, what else? I'm still planning to go back to Mammoth. And if I look at the calendar, so we're already on the first weekend of April. Today is April 6th. So I've already done my budget back when I showed you in the video. I updated all of my information and it's just now having a recap or summary at the end of the video. But my budget allocations have already been done. Today is the first Sunday of the month, so it's basically a check-in day for me. This month is going to be quite busy, probably another expensive sort of month, so I need to not only take into account my expenses in the last 3 months, but I also what I foresee this month to be. And as I go through it, I know it's going to be a little bit hectic on that end. So I need to be a little more conscious on the things that I do spend money on, eating out or buying random things. I think I need to be a little more conscious of that for this month because it'll already be an expensive type of month. So just to finalize the budget and my allocations for April, I am still keeping my food at $280. I'll put a chart here with the totals of what I'm going to be spending or allocating for each month for this month of April. So food, that'll be $280 for the month. For gas, I'm keeping it at $175 also because there will be a lot of driving involved. For my ski trip though, I consider that as part of travel, and so that'll be allocated in my travel expenses. For my emergency savings, I'm gonna dial it down a little bit and then just allocate $200 into my emergency savings bucket. And for my travel savings, I'm going to try to be conscious and put in some more money, like $300, so that when next month's travel time comes around, I am prepared for that. For laundry, it'll be $25. That's like the perfect number for me. Other needs, I'm thinking $125 because I do have to do my oil change, and I'm really, really, really hoping to do it this month. But if I'm gonna be out every weekend, we'll see if I get it. But at least I can buy the stuff that I need for my oil change. Other no needs, I'm allocating $75 for disposables, so anything like cash or anything that it's not either food or anything, just like random stuff. I'm gonna allocate $50. Eating out, I'm allocating $150. For clothes, I'm not planning to buy any clothes this month, and it's gonna be $0. For gifts, I'm going to allocate about $50 just if I have to, like my friend's birthday is coming, so I might just get like a little something. No additional savings, no additional money for investment. Just I want to concentrate into first having the money for all the expenses that I'm planning to have this month. And work expense, I don't foresee anything, but there might already be something in the line, so it's not something too crazy to be about. Any travel expenses, assuming about $100 for, well, I think now that I'm saying it, I think I'm gonna have to up that up because going to Mammoth is about $80 round trip, and for about $80 to $100 round trip, and I still have to book my parking at the LAX parking lot, so that's probably gonna be another $80. So I'm gonna have to already readjust that. So this is not the final, I guess. There's gonna be another new revision to it. And then my savings with my boyfriend's account is $500. So that is it for all of my variable expenses. All of my fixed expenses are fixed, so I already know what money I need to have in the accounts that those payments are made automatically, and they don't change. The only one that might change is my internet, because I'm moving from Spectrum to T-Mobile because they offer a much cheaper rate, and I try to negotiate that with Spectrum directly, and they told me I was already on the lowest of the lowest and that they couldn't go any lower. So I just don't want to be paying almost $100 for internet and especially if I have a better option that is like just good enough for what I needed and I don't need anything crazy. So that's what I'm going to work towards on one of my fixed expenses. But other than that, I think that is pretty much it. My variable expenses are the moving pieces in month to month. So those are the things that I try to look into to be able to save more or to invest more or to just keep more money cash in my checking accounts. So those are the moving pieces, and everything else is just the same every month. That is it for me today. That is how I do my budget allocations for each month. And specifically this time, it was a good exercise to see how I've been spending my money this last 3 months so that I can have a good average of my expenses per category that I have, and then be able to forecast what it would be for next month or for the full quarter. I hope that this exercise helped you sort of figure out your own finances. If you want a copy of this tracker, I have it down below. So you have to go to the link on my description on my website, sign up for the newsletter or something like that, and then I'm gonna be able to get your email and then send you a copy or a link to download the copy. If you don't get it, or if you sign up for it and for some reason I take too long to reply, just send me a message or shoot me a comment down in this video so I know to go in and make it accessible for you. I'm still trying to work things out with the website and like the automatic emails, but just help me out by like letting me know, and then I'll get that to you as soon as possible. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Also, don't forget to subscribe if you like this type of content, or if you also are interested in travel. I know that it might not sound like those two things go hand in hand together, but if you love travel and that's one of your value categories, I'm pretty sure you're gonna enjoy my personal finance content. So make sure to subscribe and hit the like button, share with friends that you might think like this type of content as well. See you next time.